If we were standing here 1,000 years ago, we would have seen a very different central Otago. These iconic empty landscapes would have been covered in forest, and that forest was home to more moa than anywhere else in the country. So this is the Moa heartland, or it was, until not that long ago. I'm Quinn Berentson, and I wrote a book about the Moa. For 50 million years, Moa were the dominant land animals of these islands, and then humans discovered them and wiped them out, and then we kind of forgot about them. Just up the road from here in 2019, a young tractor driver local found an amazing Moa discovery.
Oh, it's just a normal day in the Maniatota, and we decided we'd knock off early and take the dogs for a swim. Well, hasn't that worked out a wee treat for us?
Hey, Quinn.
Mate, well.
Yeah, good. This is one of 6 that we excavated. It was about 3.6 million years old. It was the first trackway that had been found in the South Islands. If you've got 3 or more footprints, there's a lot that you can learn about an animal. We can tell that it was walking quite slowly through the mud at 2.6 kilometres per hour.
Okay, that exact?
That exact. That had a hip height of just over a metre.
Yep.
So these are from a Pachyornis moa, which is a relative of the heavy-footed moa, which we're actually standing beside. There's little ones, more medium-sized ones, there's the massive chonky fat-legged ones, and then there's the huge giant moa.
Female South Island giant moa was the biggest of all, right?
The biggest
so
of all.
as big as they got.
Yeah, and bigger than the North Island species as well. I believe that this is when it was kind of reaching up a little bit.
Yeah.
Its natural pose would have been slightly more of an S shape in its neck, but you know, this indicates sort of how tall and how big they could reach up into the forest canopy.
You can still see some plants that have kind of evolved to defend themselves against moa. The lancewood's a classic.
Yeah, the horoweka. So when the leaves of the horoweka are in a young plant, they're very stabby. They look like long arrows. But when that tree gets above the height of our giant moa, the leaves change to a much more standard form. So
once it's out of reach.
The plant's trying to defend themselves against browsing from moa. 2 young lads, about 17, a pair of hunters, poked their head into a cave thinking, wow, imagine if you found a moa in here. And
there it was.
There it was. One of the most complete upland moa skeletons to ever be found. And also she had an unlaid egg still sitting within her pelvis.
Both Jonathan and I, Josh, found this 2001 up the north branch of the root burn.
Yeah, literally shined our lights to the back of the cave and found these bones lying there.
Eggs of the moa are, for the size of them, one of the thinnest that existed for any bird. You know, you're talking about huge, huge birds that are sitting on these, and they'd break fairly commonly in the nest.
Do we know of their reproductive rate?
It was probably about 1 to 2 chicks max a year.
The slow reproduction rate kind of was part of what doomed them when humans arrived. Couldn't replace themselves, and it was just a spiral down to extinction. Look at that.
This is the neck of a moa which was found dried in a cave in central Otago.
Intact skin. Looks like a bit of an elephant's trunk.
This is a really good example of what the skin was like.
Amazing. Seeing skin and bits of feathers and things, it just, I don't know, makes it more real.
This here, these are the feather shafts. It was an animal that was living.
The bones were sent back to Richard Owen in London, who was the kind of kingpin of studying ancient bones. When he, you know, said there was a giant extinct bird in New Zealand, the world listened, and it became this kind of worldwide sensation. The whole concept of extinction was kind of new, and people were fascinated by that. a beautiful bit of coastline this, but very rugged.
Yeah.
One of the big mysteries was whether humans and Moa had existed at the same time. Up until sort of 1852 or so, there was no evidence that humans and Moa had overlapped. But that mystery was solved basically here. They found a bunch of middens on the side of the stream full of Moa bones and smashed up Moa eggs. And that answered that mystery basically, which was yes, humans and Moa lived at the same time. Māori knew this all along, of course, but European scientists needed, I guess, physical proof. It was actually the first archaeological dig in New Zealand.
I'm a descendant of the Waitaha people, who were first people here.
You know, we've been wandering this area for probably nearly 2,000 years now. So there's a kind of bond that you feel with the whenua and the rocky outcrops and the way they look. It's home, in a way. That's hard to explain. When you look at South Canterbury, there's over 580 rock art sites, probably because there's so much limestone which makes such a good canvas.
Oh, wonderful.
You can see the orange pigment up here on the neck of this one.
It's remarkable that, 500 or 600 years old, is it, this stuff, or maybe older?
Maybe older. Okay, well with this one, the head's right up here and the long neck coming down, and then the back going right across there with the orange pigment coming right down here to the legs and outlining the legs, and then up again to the neck. And these striations along the body indicating the feathers. Interesting way the feet are drawn with lots and lots of toes.
Definitely had claws.
So that the artist who drew these had seen them alive.
Of course, yeah, that's the amazing thing, yeah.
It
was not an imagination it's a documentary.
I wonder whether the person drawing this was actually looking at a moor. Just there you go.
Pose for me.
Yeah, pose for me. Now move right.
Early 20th century. New Zealand was land of the Moa. When the mighty All Blacks first toured the British Isles and cleaned them up, all of the kind of newspaper cartoons showed a Moa in an All Blacks jersey, kind of shaking a lion around.
We're in a temporary home until 2029 when we move back into a brand new building.
Whoa.
Here we have the bones of the South Island giant moa, individuals from Glenmark Swamp in North Canterbury. A really important thing here are the hills. The hills are limestone, the soil is quite alkaline, and that means the bone is preserved.
We're near Glenmark Station, about an hour's drive north of Christchurch, and this is Moa bone territory. Just over here somewhere, Paul, was the site of the find.
The 1866 press article says that they were digging on Home Creek near the shearing sheds, and the workmen came across the bones of giant moa.
And a lot of them, right? It was a big, big
really
collection.
Significant collection,
Yeah.
Hundreds if not thousands of bones.
That collection just set Haast up, right? He was in possession of the most Moa bones in the world. And
Exactly. Because of the Victorian fascination in moa, museums all around the world wanted one. And frankly, Haast had too many bones that he didn't know what to do with. Haast realised that he could turn Canterbury Museum, based on the currency of moa, into one of the great museums of the world. We exchanged our moa for the taonga of the rest of the world. I've been to most of the significant natural history museums around the world, and every single one of them has moa bones from this site.
Wow.
It was the year 1937 when a North Canterbury farmer, Joseph Hodgson, and his son Rob faced the task of burying a dray horse. For soft digging, they chose the uncultivated swamp paddock in Pyramid Valley.
Pyramid Valley is just 10 kilometres that way over Weka Pass.
At 18 inches, a change of colour indicates a 40-inch layer of swamp sediment, a jelly-like mass that was responsible both for trapping the birds and preserving their bones.
It's the most significant site that's been found in the last 100 years or so. Moa would have walked out further into these swamps searching for drinkable water and then get stuck.
A miserable death.
Yeah, it's a miserable death. From Pyramid Valley, we actually know exactly where each one was collected. So we're able to put together the bones of the same individual. Complete skeletons are very rare. We probably only have 20 or 30 that we consider absolutely complete. In the South Island giant moa, the female was considerably bigger than the male. It's been calculated that the female South Island giant moa wouldn't have been able to incubate the egg. They would have just crushed it if she'd sat on it. So the boy had to do all the incubation. Look at the feet and you realise they couldn't outrun anything. I mean, there's a likelihood that, you know, they were actually quite docile and, you know, maybe even friendly because of the fact that they simply didn't have anything, you know, that they needed to really run away from.
It's the saddest thing, isn't it, that they hung out for 50 or 60 million years and got to be within 500 years of being protected.
Yeah, they almost kind of made it. So more as a cautionary tale, I think.